going on, Green Teamers? Got a bunch of great news to get to surrounding your Boston Celtics on today's show. As we got a new update on the return of Jayson Tatum. We'll also talk Peyton Pritchard and his massive leap since going to the bench. And then the Celtics, I think they drafted the next Derek White. I didn't say that per se, but a lot of people were talking about Hugo Gonzalez, man, and how big he could be for this Celtics team both now and in the future. We'll dive into all this and more in just a moment. But first, go down below and hit that thumbs up icon and prove Knicks Now host Marshall Green wrong. He continues to talk nonsense about the Celtics all season long. And he's talking nonsense about the channel today. He said that we couldn't get 400 likes on today's video. Go down below, hit the thumbs up icon, prove him wrong, show him who the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference is over those New York Knicks. All right, so let's go to this Jayson Tatum return update here as we continue to see the story, the narrative, get closer and closer to the actual return for JT. He has a new Amica insurance commercial. I don't know if you guys have seen it already, but it concludes with Jayson Tatum being announced into the starting lineup in an NBA game. And that just tells me like that they're not doing these ads, they're not doing these commercials to play with our emotions, right? They're doing it to actually signal what's to come. And that's Jayson Tatum returning to the basketball court. So it was awesome to see him kind of cinematically work through all of his workouts and rehab processes in that commercial. And then obviously it concludes with him getting ready to check in to an NBA game. So we're getting closer by the day. And then practice photos are coming out of JT actually matching up with the team that's out there day in and day out. As you see him going past Luka guards like here on a drive, like he's in practice with the real team. It's not the main Celtics in the G League squad anymore. So it is getting realer and realer by the day. We also heard Tatum talk to the media over the weekend as well. So we'll talk more about what he said in a moment. But before the Laker game on Monday, Joe Mazzulla was asked about Jayson Tatum being at practice and what the participation level was there. And he said absolutely nothing. He stared that reporter down, basically until he cracked, and then just looked away. He didn't say anything about it. They're being incredibly, it's not naive, it is just vague with everything. That's been the entire saga of Jayson Tatum ramping up to a potential return here. It's been vagueness from Brad Stevens, from Jayson Tatum himself, and from Joe Mazzulla as well, who we know is the king of already being vague about every situation already. This is just, par for the course for him with JT returning. Now, Bobby Kravitsky also mentioned that he said, Jayson Tatum said he knows what being 100% feels like. When I asked him what percentage he's at right now, he smiled and said, I don't know. Like, Jayson Tatum is one of the worst liars ever. He couldn't even hold back the fact that he is as close to being as close to returning to this team as humanly possible right now. He literally let out a smirk, a smile, and he didn't end up giving an answer because he couldn't, probably without laughing. Like, he knows he's so close to a return right now. All it takes is that announcement of the exact date that he is going to be back. Here's more from Tatum about what he told reporters on Saturday about where he's at through it all. I do not have a date. Oh my God, he's saying it again. I do not have a date. I just take it one day at a time. I feel better than I did yesterday. And that's the most important thing. And then he was talking about the practice on Saturday as well. There was a little 5-on-5. It's tough to go into detail of every single thing I do every day, but I will say getting acclimated more and doing limited things with some of the guys out there, it's all a part of the rehab. Save me the nonsense, JT. Like, it's back and forth week after week. I don't know if I'm going to return. I don't know when I'll return. I don't have a date. Okay, buddy, but your sponsors, they do. They wouldn't be releasing these Amica insurance commercials with JT getting announced into the starting lineup. They wouldn't be dropping these 5-part NBC documentaries about Jayson Tatum's rehab and recovery process if he wasn't very, and I mean very, close to a return to your Boston Celtics. Like, I am beyond ready. I am a 24-year-old man. I got no wife, no kids. All I'm worrying about is Jayson Tatum's return and which jersey I'm rocking for that first game back. This is as excited as I've been all season long. That's not to take away from what the Celtics are doing this season. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have been awesome. I loved everything I watched in that Laker game on Sunday, excuse me. So this has just been an awesome season all around, and it's going to be cherried on top with a Jayson Tatum return. Now, when will that happen? Let's take a look at the next 10 games or so and try to deduce when we could see it. Well, we can already take out all of the road games, right? At Milwaukee. We got at Cleveland, at San Antonio, and at OKC. Oh, also at Phoenix and at Denver over these next couple of days. So that leaves Friday, the 27th, against the Nets. Sunday, March 1st, against the 76ers on NBC, flexed into primetime, flexed on national television. All the signs are pointing as to him potentially returning on that day. You have Wednesday the 4th against the Hornets, which is also, I believe, been put on NBA TV. And then you have the Friday game against the Dallas Mavericks, which is on ESPN. I could absolutely see that happening too. The next home game after that Mavericks game on Friday the 6th would be Saturday, over a week later on the 14th of March against the Washington Wizards, which has also been put on NBA TV. So the Celtics, the NBA, are stacking the C's schedule in terms of nationally televised appearances just to make sure that they'll be on when Jayson Tatum ends up suiting up again for the Boston Celtics. I think it's going to be March 1st, that 76ers game, but I could also see it end up being the Friday, March 6th game against the Mavericks. Just due to all of the theatrics and the, documentary and all this stuff that's been going on with Tatum and NBC over the past couple of weeks, I see it being Sunday, March 1st. But that is, like a week away at this point? Literally a week from yesterday. Seems a little far-fetched at this point as we get closer and closer to that actual game happening. But what do you guys think? When does Jayson Tatum make his season debut for the Boston Celtics? Drop a day, drop a game for me down in the comments. When does JT get back out there and wearing green for the first time this season? All right, coming up next, we got great news on two players who have been playing for the Boston Celtics all season long. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Guys, shoot your shot on PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting, so don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks at PrizePicks. Well, all you do is pick 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 2,000 times your money in one single lineup. But that's not all. You got to take advantage of all the features that they offer, because it's not just picking more or less. They don't just leave you out to dry. They have awesome features like injury insurance and injury reboots, where if your player gets hurt in the first half and does not return, you just get that square taken out of your lineup. No questions asked. They also have early payouts now as well. So if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you can cash out those winnings before the games even finish. PrizePicks is always making it easier for you guys, where they throw you flash deals, Taco Tuesdays, all this max discounts where they discount stat projections up to 99%. Take advantage of all the deals, man. Take advantage of how aesthetically pleasing the app is and how easy to use it is over at PrizePicks. Download PrizePicks today and use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Let's talk about Pritchard. Let's talk about Hugo, because they have been absolutely awesome. Payton Pritchard, finally, with a monster primetime performance against the Los Angeles Lakers. We've been waiting for this kind of all season long. PP during the primetime games against some of the better teams in this league. Some of the tougher games the Celtics have had, he's kind of, shriveled up a little bit. He hasn't been as super efficient. He certainly wasn't playing to the level that he was on Sunday against Los Angeles, where he poured in 30 points, 8 assists, 10 of 14 from the field, and 6 of 9 from 3. This is just the latest in the Payton Pritchard experience, where he's been coming off of the bench since the Celtics traded away Anthony Simons, traded for Nikola Vucevic, had to get a little bit bigger in the starting lineup, and he has just taken that and ran with it, man. Since coming off the bench for Payton Pritchard, these last 7 games, he's putting up all-star level numbers, dude. 23.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, and the efficiencies. Are we serious? 54% from the field and 47% from 3? That should be prosecutable. Unbelievable what this guy is doing, and it's all in isolation too. Like he's averaging I think it's like 1.3 points per possession in ISO. You guys, it's a nerd stat. You guys don't realize how ridiculous that is for a guard. Not only one at the point guard or two guard spot, but one that is the size and stature of Peyton Pritchard. Like, he's got to shoot over these guys. Like, he's dealing with heavy contests. The one move he had on Austin Reeves for the dagger on Sunday was just straight up disgusting. And this stretch is all coming on. You saw the raw percentages, 54 from the field, 47 from three. 68% true shooting. He's been lights out. And it's coming at the absolute right time. It's being noticed by his teammate, Jaylen Brown, who's getting his name in MVP conversations at this point. JB said this about Peyton Pritchard. He said, Peyton, he's caught fire this second half of the season. I think he's really figured it out. So we continue to roll with that and trust that. Let him run things because his level of play has raised. I think he's really kind of figured that out, how to get to his spots. He's shooting the ball well. He's seeing the game well. So Peyton has been playing at an all-star level, and I'm happy to see it. Nobody's happier to see it than me. So we find ways throughout the game to trust him and allow him to run the show. That's what's been awesome about watching Peyton Pritchard, man. Like, he just takes control of the floor. He dictates things at his tempo, and, he's also pouring in those half-court shots from now and again as well. Peyton Pritchard did say as well, I'm still evolving. There's another step I can get to. So just going to keep working, and I'm going to get to it. This guy's awesome, man. It's been a joy to watch him evolve as a starter, and now back to the bench where he is taking it with the utmost grace, right? He's saying whatever my role needs to be, how effective can you be when you're on the court? It doesn't matter when you get on the court. Those minutes that you're out there, how effective can you be? Joe Mazzulla's had high praise for him, saying he affects the game in so many different ways. I've loved everything I've seen out of Peyton Pritchard this year. It's an even better season than the one he had as a sixth man of the year in 2025. If you're fired up by Peyton Pritchard's recent play, do one thing for me. Go down below and hit that thumbs up icon. Like today's video, because Peyton Pritchard, he's putting on absolute shows for us Celtics fans. Now, speaking of other guys coming off of the bench for your Boston Celtics, I alluded to it at the beginning of today's show. I've spoiled it throughout. Guys, Hugo Gonzalez, he's looking like the next big thing. He's looking like the guy who is going to be the future of the Boston Celtics. Man, Brad Stevens, could we just clap it up for the man one more time? As I like to do, like when I wake up every morning, just clap up Brad Stevens for what he does as a basketball professional, executive, and leader of this franchise. He just knows how to do the basketball thing. He knows how to coach it. He understands it. He knows how to GM it. He knows how to develop. He knows how to identify talent. And he did that with Hugo Gonzalez, man. He isn't playing the most minutes of anybody in the league, but I'll tell you what, he's making the most of his minutes more than anybody in the league. Yeah, you're reading this correctly. The NBA's leaders in net rating, 4 of them come from the Thunder, yet somehow Hugo Gonzalez is number 1. So in terms of offensive and defensive impact, when you're on the basketball court, there is nobody with lineups more effective than Hugo Gonzalez. I don't understand how that computes. AJ Mitchell is a great comparison here as well, because he comes off the bench for the OKC Thunder, plays more minutes than Hugo, but still, he still laps him. I don't get it, man. I mean, the numbers are one thing. We see what he does on the basketball court. He's an instant jolt of energy. Sometimes he's moving a little bit too fast for his own good. But he also caught the attention of his top star in this league, Luka Doncic, who Hugo looked up to, coming up in the Real Madrid program there. He said, we all know he's a very high-effort player. He's all around the court. It's only his first year. He'll have time to learn. But I think he's going to be a very important piece for every team he plays for. I hope he's talking about the Celtics and then the Spanish national team, because Hugo Gonzalez will not be leaving the Boston Celtics as long as I have a say. I have no say, by the way. It would be awesome if I did. Shout out to Brad if you want to hook me up and get me in those rooms, get me in those meetings. That'd be great. But Hugo Gonzalez will only play for one team as long as I have anything to say about it. I feel like Celtics fans, as time goes, they will become more and more outraged at the thoughts of Hugo Gonzalez in trade talks or anything like that. So it's just fun to see, to be quite honest with you guys. When you want to break it down with some more nerd stats here, because we see him, right? We see him taking guys off the dribble against the Golden State Warriors. We see him as a crafty finisher. We see him in transition as an elite passer. But the raw defensive numbers have him stacking up with Derek White. John Corrales of Sports Illustrated has been going at it with guys because he had this claim that Hugo Gonzalez will be better than Derek White. The floor for Hugo Gonzalez is Derek White. Well, if you look at the numbers right now, it's really, really close, guys. Overall points per possession allowed, Hugo is 0.12 worse than Derek White. He's 0.18 better, or 0.018, excuse me, better defending the pick and roll than Derek White is. In isolation, it's a bit more of a drop off there, a 0.07 difference. But seriously, man, there is real evidence that Hugo Gonzalez stacks up defensively to Derek White. If you look at some of the metrics with those two guys on the floor at the same time, you might faint. I think it would kill a small Victorian child if they saw the net rating and the offensive rating and even the defensive rating that the Celtics have when Hugo Gonzalez and Derek White share the floor. It's mind-boggling. Mazzulla said this about Hugo Gonzalez. It's a skill being able to play that hard. And his defensive instincts are better than most guys. He's got like a reckless abandonment on the basketball court. He does not care about fatigue, about stamina, about anything. He's going 100 miles an hour every single time. And I can get him into a little bit of trouble. He still can turn the ball over, and the jump shot's not all there yet. But the foundation of Hugo Gonzalez becoming a top option and a top impactful player to this Celtics team, that foundation has been laid. And I'm so excited to see how he contributes to this team moving forward, man. He is going to be a star. I don't want to steal it from John Corrales, but he's saying that when Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are ready to hand the keys to this franchise away, it will be Hugo Gonzalez that takes it from them. That will do it for today's show. Make sure you give me a follow over on Twitter at Tyler J. Smith. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. YouTube.com/CelticsTV for the latest and greatest on your C's all season long. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, let's go C's.